Social and political commentary from a Christian male perspective.
Again for joining us as always. All right, we do have some breaking news that we want to bring you internationally right now. We are learning that a suicide bomber has killed at least 13 people out in Syria during a church service. The suicide bomber in Syria that detonated himself inside a church. It was filled with people, killing at least 13 and injuring countless others. The explosion happening on the outskirts of the Damascus took place as people were praying inside the church. Now, already, many groups are already calling this a terrorist attack. That's coming from the Syrian information minister, condemning the attack, also calling it a terrorist attack, saying this cowardly act goes against the civic values that brings us together, he said in a post on X. The attack was the first of its kind in Syria in years, as it comes under its de facto Islamist rule to try to win the support of minorities. Now, we are going to continue to follow this one here for you, but a witness who identified himself told the Associated Press that he saw the attacker, who was accompanied by two others who fled as he was driving near the church there. So a sad situation that played out in Syria. And this.
Hey there. All right. Yeah, this is bad, man. This is really sad to see. And so what I wanted to do, grace and peace to everybody, was just kind of let you all know about this. Maybe you didn't know about it. It's perfectly fine. I just so happened to run across it and wanted to talk about it. There's several articles already out there. So we're going to be shouting out to Ground News and checking them out. And several articles I want to bring in to kind of give us a little bit of context and just give you all a heads up, man. Hopefully your Sunday was a beautiful day to worship the Lord with your family and church community. Let's go ahead and bring this in. We'll start with this one right here. All right, let's go. All right, church bombing deletes at least 13 near Damascus. Attacker opened fire, then blew himself up, witness says. So apparently this is the church. It is Assyrian security forces stand guard outside Mar Elias Church on Sunday in Dawala in the outskirts of Damascus, Syria. Let's see, because I didn't look at the other pictures. So let's pop these other pictures in real quick. Oh, okay, here we go. All right, so clearly there was, man, this is like a pretty nice building to start with. Man, this is pretty horrible. All right, let me make it a little bit bigger for y'all. There we go. All right. And what does it say right here? A man reacts to Mar Elias Church, where a suicide self-deleter detonated himself in Delawala in the outskirts of Damascus on Sunday. I'm not going to call that again because I know I'm mispronouncing that. All right. A little bit of iconography up in there. A Syrian security guard staffer left takes picture of the damage in the entrance of Mar Elias Church, where the self-deleter detonated himself. And we're not going to say that name again. So I think I butchered it. All right, let's go. A deleter in Syria on Sunday detonated himself inside a church filled with people, deleting at least 13 people. State media reported the explosion in the church, or rather in the city, on the outskirts of Damascus, took place as people were praying inside Mar Elias Church. Sana cited the health ministry, and that this was at least 53 people were wounded. Local media reported that children were among the casualties. Syrian information minister, I don't want to butcher this gentleman's name, Hamza Mustafa, called it a terrorist attack, the AP reports. Man, this is gruesome, man. You just going to church just to worship, man. I think churches should be off limits, but all of them. I mean, we're just going to call a truce for a moment. A witness told the AP that he saw the attacker, who was accompanied by two others who later fled as he was driving near the church. He was shooting at the church and then went inside the church and executed himself. The witness said the attack was the first of its kind in Syria in years and comes as Damascus is under a de facto Islamist rule is trying to win the support of minorities as President Ahmad struggles to exert authority across the country. There have been concerns about the presence of sleeper cells of extremist groups in the war-torn country. No group immediately claimed responsibility Sunday, but the Interior Minister said an extremist from the Islamic State group entered the church and fired at people before detonating. So how does he know that, though? If you don't know this group, how do you know that this? But the Interior Minister said an extremist. How do you know that? From this group? How do we know that it was from this group particularly? If it just literally said no group immediately claimed responsibility, how do you know that this is the group? Maybe he has some kind of identifying factors or whatever like that. But that one just seems a little bit, it sounds like you might be trying to throw something out there. Say group entered the church and fired at people before executing himself with an explosive vest, echoing some witness testimony. This cowardly act goes against the civic values that brings us together, Mustafa said in a post on X. Security forces and first responders rushed to the church. Panic survivors wailed, and one woman fell to her knees and burst into tears. I can imagine this is pretty gruesome. If you just jumped in, a house of worship, a place of worship was attacked in Damascus today. So let's see what PBS has got to say about it. Again, shout out to Ground News. All right, man, this is crazy work. At least 20 were deleted in the self-deletion attack in Greek Orthodox Church in Syria. All right, that's what I thought it was. I thought it was a Greek Orthodox Church. A deleter in Syria opened up and detonated on an explosive device inside the Greek Orthodox Church, filled with people praying on Sunday, deleting at least 20 and wounding 52 others, state media reported. That is crazy work. Wow. This is crazy, man. Like, dang. The attack took place in the outskirts of Damascus, inside the Mar Elias Church. We've said that already. Okay, there's a little bit more. Britain-based war monitor, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, said that there were at least 19 people deleted and dozens of others wounded, but do not give an exact number. Some local media reports that the children were among the casualties. I would expect them to, man. I hate to say it, but children are probably going to be there with their moms and dads, worshiping with their families. Why would they? I'm not understanding why that's actually surprising that children would be in church with their moms and dads. I don't understand that. And I'm not trying to be picky, but why do you even bring that up? Maybe you need another line, another sentence. I don't know. The attack on the church was the first of its kind in Syria for years. It comes into Damascus is under a de facto Islamist rule, is trying to win support for the minorities, and the President Ahmad struggles to exert authority across the country. We already talked about that. No group immediately claimed responsibility. We already said that. And again, it seems like the sentences are just being carried over. Minister still called it a terrorist attack. This cowardly attack goes against our civic values and brings us together. He said on X, we will not back down from our commitment to equal citizenship. And we also affirm the state's pledge to exert all its efforts to combat criminal organizations and protect society from all attacks threatening its safety. Okay. All right. They're gonna put your resolve to the test, my friend. Witnesses said that the gunman was, with his face covered, entered and fired at people. When the crowd charged at him to remove him from the church, how do y'all know that? He detonated an explosive at entrance. People were praying safely under the eyes of God, said Father Fadi, who said that he saw at least 20 people deceased with his own eyes. There's 350 people praying at the church. Wow, that's a lot of people in that church then. Good gracious. However, Miletus Shatati, a church priest, said that there was a second gunman who shot at the church door before the other person detonated himself. Islam Nasir, who was praying at the church, said he saw people. Yeah, I don't need to say that. We have never held a knife in our lives. All we ever carried were our prayers, he said. Security forces and the first responders rushed to the church. Panicked survivors, we already talked about this, wailed as one lady fell on her knees and burst into tears. A photo circulating of Syrian state media shows the church pews covered in debris and blood. Oh man, this is very sad to see. Very sad to see. Man. Well, if you're just jumping in, I just wanted to talk about it for a hot second. There actually is a live stream of them, of what's going on over there. I just want to kind of make a record of this and kind of let people know this has happened. If anybody's aware, wasn't aware rather, of what had happened. Looks like a self-deleter has attacked a church in Damascus. It seems pretty clear that about 20 or so people have been unalived, and of course, several victims are injured and wounded. Let's jump over here real quick. All right, so this is it's like just in the hood, man. It's like a neighborhood church, man. Man, that's sad. Looks like a little bit of what's going on inside. Here we go, right here. All right. It looks like it clearly blew all the windows out for sure.
غير مسؤولين عنها، لكن للاسف تجاه هي التصرفات الفرديه دولتنا ما كانت عم تحمينا بها. تمام، وهذا الشيء اعطانا انطباع انه هي التصرفات الفرديه اصبحت تصرفات مؤسساتيه فرديه وليست تصرفات فرديه فقط.
Sorry, they're not giving they're not doing voiceovers. I really wish they would, or give some kind of dubbing, but it's in real time, so it's probably hard to do that really in real time. All right, so that's a gate. We saw that. It seemed like there's a loop. Yeah, it's got to be a loop. All right, if you're just jumping in, there was an attack on a church in Damascus, and about 20 people were killed, and this one looks like it might be a little bit more educational.
And cutting across to breaking news coming in, 15 people have.
All right, let's bring this in instead. Sorry about that. So about 15 to 20 people were unalived by an attack in a church in Damascus, and about 53 people were injured. Oh, crackers. Sorry about that. All right, let's bring this in. There we go. Let's try that again. All right, let's see what's going on. This is sad, man.
And cutting across to breaking news coming in, 15 people have been reported dead, several injured after a terrorist attack that targeted St. Elias Church in Damascus in Syria. A suicide bomber who allegedly blew himself up inside a Damascus church during a packed mass. The attack struck in the heart of a Syrian capital, a deadly breach of the regime's security stronghold Syrian state media that has called it a cowardly act of terror but gave no details on who was behind it. This comes as Syria tries to project stability after years of war, while violence like this says otherwise and louder. No group has claimed responsibility for this attack yet. Let's get more details from Ashraf Mani, who joins us on the phone line with what all happened.
This actually the security agencies of the Syria are checking basically who is behind this suicide attack, which group is involved in it. So far, the details what are emerging that one suicide bomber with the suicide belt, he entered into the church. This one of the oldest churches in the Damascus of Syria, and blew himself. When he blew himself, then almost all dozens got injured. Now the death toll is mounting, and the Syrian authorities are confirming that 15 people, most of them who came to prayers in this church, are dead, and more than 19 are injured in this suicide attack. As you mentioned, the Syria has, after a long uh, civil war and other problems, had finally came to some stabilization after the formation of new government of Ahmad Sharara during last 3 months. And now when this government was trying to stabilize, the sanctions were removed in the country, and people from different parts of the world were returning back to their home country who had migrated due to the civil war. And now we are seeing that this kind of attack happened today, suicide in the Damascus, the capital of the Syria. And also the security agencies are checking that because we have seen earlier there was a lot of control of Iran in the Syria, and the Assad regime, which was removed and has taken the shelter in the Russia, may be any kind of his associate, or his link may be associated with this kind of suicide attack in Syria. And the security agencies of the government are chalking out that probably who may be behind this terrorist attack in the Damascus.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Extremely unfortunate. 15 people have lost their lives in this attack. We await further details on the investigation. For the moment, I want to thank you for joining us.
All right. All right. All right. Thank you so much for that. And maybe I don't know, maybe I was just thinking about it and pondering it. But shout out to somebody just told me this actually happened in the United States as well. So, man, this is hyper unfortunate. Good gracious, man. All right. So there actually was an attack on an American church as well. So we don't have to look 9 time zones over. We can literally look right up to the great state of Michigan. And I'll bring it in real quick. Wow. Mm. They said no sound. I apologize. Hold on. All right. So you're saying that you don't have sound. All right. And wouldn't I usually say green hearts in the chat when you can hear? Don't I usually say that? And I didn't say it. All right. Let's back this up a little bit. And all right, let me bring it back in. Maybe I brought it in wrong. Sorry about that, y'all. All right. Can you breakfast gun? Do you mind letting me know if you can hear this? I will back it up, of course. Green hearts in the chat when y'all can hear. All right, real quick. Can y'all hear that? Let me double check. I'm gonna check my YouTube as well. Before I get too far afield, I want to make sure y'all can hear. I apologize for that. Nope, it's not showing up. All right, let me try that. I apologize, y'all. I have botched that up. No sound still. So let me bring it in. All right, let's start it over again. Can you see this? All right, we'll start with the basics. This is a video. All right. God. All right, now we'll try again.
All right, everyone, welcome back here to Live Now from Fox. We do have some breaking news that we want to bring to you of a church attack that happened out in Wayne, Michigan earlier today. We are getting
All
some
right.
new aerials.
All right, come over here struggle streaming today. I'm struggle streaming, y'all. Have mercy on me tonight. Can y'all real quick green hearts in chat? Oh, you can hear. Okay. Praise his name. All right. All right. Here we go. All right. So let's back that up. Let's start over again.
That happened.
Thank y'all so much.
All right, everyone, welcome back here to Live Now from Fox. We do have some breaking news that we want to bring to you of a church attack that happened out in Wayne, Michigan earlier today. We are getting some new aerials. This is live aerials courtesy of Fox 2 Detroit that is up in the air right now. So this happening in Wayne, Michigan, where an active shooter situation. The suspect drove a truck into Cross Point Community Church out in Wayne, Michigan, starting to open fire. We don't know if he was able to ring off some shots, but we are learning that the suspect was shot and killed by a security guard that was at the church as well there. So this could have been a situation that could have turned out very, very badly, but by the quick actions of the security guard, able to neutralize the suspect before that individual got into the church. Truly remarkable right now. We are also learning from the FBI. Look at what Dan Bongino said. Our leadership and support teams are on the ground at the scene in Wayne, Michigan, providing assistance and support. So they are right now going to be on the scene, just seeing if there is any connection to maybe any radical ideology that could be presented from what is going on in the Middle East. So that investigation will take some time there. But again, we do want to show you this breaking news scene out in Wayne, Michigan, just outside of Detroit. And you're taking a live look here of the investigation that is continuing. There were several people hurt. We don't know the condition of those people. But again, the shooter was neutralized by the security guard that was on the scene there. It was quick action as the service was just about to get going. There is on social media already some live stream footage of when parishioners were being escorted and running for their lives as the suspected active shooter was killed at the church by an armed security guard. Again, this happening at Cross Point Community Church out in Wayne, Michigan there. So we will be tracking this here for you on Live Now from Fox. The FBI is on it. Dan Bongino says our leadership and support teams are on the ground as well. And they are tracking this story right now as it will be continued to update. If we get any news conferences from on the ground, we will bring that to you on Live Now from Fox as well. So let's take our final break here of the hour. We will be getting back to some more anti-war protests that are happening out in Boston. We'll be back with more on Live Now.
All right. So, man, this is boy, today has turned into a very interesting day. Did not have this on my schedule, did not have this on my bingo board. But nonetheless, we are here. Nonetheless, we are here. So there was an attack in a church in Damascus. There was an attack in a church here. Well, a possible attack. It doesn't look like anybody was actually injured, as far as I can understand. So, man, this is craziness. Okay, I'm looking just to give you all just another quick snippet of what actually happened, or what happened over there. This church was huge. My goodness. This thing is gigantic. All right. Shout out to y'all. Thank y'all so much. And we'll be done with this. I'm not going to hang out long. I saw this and I thought it would be something interesting. Oh, this is not a church. I'm sorry. Let me pull this in. Y'all can see it too. That's not a church. That's something else. All right. So the helicopter is supposed to be giving us a view. That looks like an Amazon location. There is no audio on this, by the way. Now that's the church right there. Okay. Man, this is craziness, man. We're in some crazy days. Oh, that's a nice building. Got the little enclosed playground. I see you over there. That's a very nice building. But thankfully, nobody was hurt. And shout out to that security guard for taking care of that ahead of time. If you're just jumping in, we're looking at a church outside of Wayne, Michigan, in Wayne, Michigan, outside of Detroit, that had a potential active shooter event that was stopped by. Oh, that's his truck right there. Wait. Show me the truck. Come on, cameraman. You got one job. Hold on. Okay, so that's his truck. Oh, wow. They put heads to bed right at the gate. So he didn't even get into, he drove up into their grass, which by the way was a very nice, well manicured lawn. Oh, he had ill intentions like that. Oh. Wow. Based upon what they said, it sounds like he tried to ram the door and was stopped. That's what I'm understanding. I could be wrong, but that's how I understood it. Disappointed father. That's how I'm understanding it. He was attempting to ram. He got out. I'm assuming to run in, and then that's where the wheels on the bus literally came off. All right, I'm trying to see if there's another one. I don't see another one explain anything else. Let's go to ground news, though. Let's go to ground news. All right, so this is, make sure it's today. Yeah, this is today's. Okay, so USA Today, they're going to tell us something. So let's go and jump over there. They want me to disable the ad blocker. We're going to disable the ad blocker real quick. All right. Now they want me to buy the newspaper. Not going to be able to do that, my friend. Okay, so let's look at this article very quickly. I know I just told y'all we were going to be done, but let me just look at it real quick and add a little bit of context and hopefully give you something to check out as well. Let's go. Suspect deleted following a Michigan church shooting, says the police. One person was neutralized. I like the way they said neutralized. I'm going to use that one. was neutralized, and one was injured in a shooting at a church in Wayne, Michigan on June 22nd, according to local police. The city of Wayne Police Department said on a Facebook post that a shooting took place at Cross Point Community Church, and that responding officers determined that a security guard for the church neutralized I just love it, neutralize the suspect. Shout out to the security team. Shout out to the security team. If your church has a security team, just send them a little shout out tonight. Just pray for them, because they took care of business. This gentleman took care of business. Imagine what would have happened if he did not have a security team. Imagine that. That's, shout out. Let's get done. The police department described the suspect as a 31-year-old white male in an email to USA Today. Detroit ABC affiliate WXYZ reported that the suspect was on his way to the church when another person tried to stop him with their truck. Oh, okay. When he opened fire on the truck, the security guard intervened. Okay. So he was doing wrong and somebody tried to run him over with their truck. Boy, that's some doggone Georgia stuff right there. Okay. They said, look, we thought you was trying to do some mostly peaceful protest. We're about to put your head to bed. We're going to neutralize you. The guard intervened, according to the station. The police department said that there will be a press conference of the shooting at 6 p.m. Oh, my goodness. Wait, they 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time? Oh, that means I got to stay on there, got to filibuster for an hour? I think I could do it. FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino said on X that the Bureau has sent leadership and support teams to Wayne. This is a developing story that has been updated. All right. Wow. Okay. Now we got a little bit more context. Thank you so much for asking that, because now we know. Shout out to Willie Doc. Thank you so much for the $2 super sticker, man. Grace and peace, brother. Perfectly had a wonderful Sunday. Y'all, it's an evil world we living in. It's an evil world. It's an evil world that we live in. But our faith and our hope is not in a less evil world. Our faith and hope is in Christ. And that's it. I mean, at the end of the day, when the smoke clears, it's all Christ, man. It's all of him. So, all right. I'm just looking to see. We already heard from let's look at the Independent. The Independent tends to be a pretty straight shooting news outlet. They got a word from the pastor. All right. Oh, this is a little bit better. Shout out. Okay. Let me bring this in for y'all. Shout out to the word y'all. All right. Thank you again, Willie Doc. Very kind, brother. Appreciate you, man. All the time supporting the channel. All right, let's go. Okay, so what do they say over here at the Independent? They say a Michigan church shooting, minister ran over the gunman before security guard neutralized him. Pastor says service was concluded when incident occurred, sending churchgoers fleeing. Y'all, I'm sorry. You don't get a lot of empathy and sympathy from me if you attack a church. I'm sorry. Same thing. I mean, that's just nasty work, and you deserve to get mocked. And I'm probably going to say some bad things about you. A gunman was neutralized by the church security guard in suburban Detroit on Sunday morning after the deacon ran the shooter down with a truck. Come on, deacons, let's go. I'm about to send this to all of my deacons right now. Let's go. We always sending messages back and forth like who's going to help with offering or this, that, and the other. Now we got this. We out here running folk over. Let's go for the deacons. Shout out. Run over the deacon. Man, come on. All right. The city of Wayne, Michigan Police Department responded to a report of an active shooter at Cross Point Community Church shortly after 11 a.m. Upon arrival, the officers found that the security guard had neutralized the suspect, described as a 31-year-old man by police. At least one other person, another security guard, was shot in the leg. Several shots were fired into the church. Senior pastor Bobby Kelly Jr. told the Detroit News that a deacon ran the shooter over with his F-150 truck, giving the security guard time to neutralize the armed attacker outside the church. Shout out. This gives whole new meaning to the term transportation ministry. I mean, the amount of jokes that I'm thinking of right now are pretty insane. I mean, because we, as deacons at my church, we walk the parking lot and we, look for problems and whatnot, and we report back inside. Hey, I see this or this, that, and the other. Last week, we found that a door to our education wing had completely shattered. I think it might have been because of lightning. I know that sounds crazy, but we couldn't find any evidence that anybody was in the building or that there was like a rock or anything like that. And we concluded that it might have just been a fluke, but it may very well. But long story short, we're out there in that parking lot doing it, right? So now, and a lot of my deacons have F-150s. This is the amount of comedy that's going to come in this group text about this is going to be insane. Armed attacker outside the church. He hit him with the F-150. That's a whole Ford commercial right there. He was run over by one of our members who saw this happening when he was coming into church. He said, "I saw you misbehaving, and I had to go send you to your eternal judgment." This rascal said, "I saw you misbehaving, and I sent you to eternal judgment." Goodness gracious. Happened when he was coming to church. Well, shout out to people that come to church late. Most of our deacons are on time, but shout out to everybody that come to church late. There's a reason for it now. Video from the church's live stream on YouTube shows a moment the crowd reacts to the suspect active shooter. After the service was concluded, the congregants clapped, shouted, and could be heard off screen. The Wayne Department responded to the active shooter at Cross Point Church in Wayne this morning. Upon arrival, officers determined that the security guard, shout out to the security guard for the church, had neutralized the suspect. One victim was shot in the leg. Please avoid the area. Officers are still actively investigating. People in the church then began to duck down behind chairs while others ran from the room. The church officials instructed people to come to the back of the room. Everybody in the back, please. Everybody come to the back. Come to the back. The person yells before what appears to be a shot is heard. The sound is then cut. The people continue to exit. It looks like they're doing something for children too. Man, you a whole bunch of man. Yeah, well, you getting your eternal judgment, Mr. Shooter man. You getting your eternal judgment. So I do hope that it was worth it because you getting your eternal judgment. Pastor Kelly said roughly 150 people were in the special vacation. Oh, that's it. I thought so. I was like, it looked like it's for kids. Special vacation Bible school service. Let's go. VBS in the building. When the shooting occurred, meaning the more children than usual were in attendance. He said that the shooter's identity is unknown at this time, probably because he got ran over. But the attacker does not appear to be a member of the congregation. He's a member of hell at the moment. Sorry about that. I'm just telling the truth. The church has had security on site for about a decade in response to violence committed at other places of worship around the U.S., although there have never been any direct threats made. We are sitting ducks to someone who wants to come and do harm, Kelly said. No, y'all look, as long as Deacon John be coming to church late with his F-150 and you got a Quick Draw McGraw as your security, y'all good. He hit him with the truck, y'all. Do you know how bad I would want to watch that video? I would want to watch that video. I saw a video on X happened inside the church and really don't see anything other than people being directed to the back. Yeah, I don't want to pull it up. I don't know what happens, but I'll check it out. Maybe I'll pull it up later. There's a video. I think you just said that. Oh, you can hear the gunshots. Yeah, I don't want look YouTube. YouTube might already pull my video down. All I know. He just found out Muhammad was a liar. I'm trying to tell you, he's mad. So anyway, man, shout out to the deacon with the F-150 running people over. That's crazy work. I'm literally going to screenshot this. I don't think we have anybody with a white F-150, but we do have several green and dark colors. So I'm going to send this to my diaconate so they can feel like, look, you guys have value, man. I'm going to add a joke. All right. All right. I just sent that. I'm adding this and sending this to my deacons. Yeah, I am. You're right. I'm being lighthearted about this because that gentleman came to the church to do harm, and he was sent to his mate. He was sent to his eternal judgment. So therefore, we got to give him. We got to say that. We got to say it out loud. What's going on, my good people? All right, if you just jumping in, there was a possible. It was thwarted though. It was a possible attack on a church in Michigan, but because of Deacon John got to church late and Quick Draw McGraw, they were successful in neutralizing the would-be attacker. Was neutralized. You can't beat that at all. Shout out to them. All right, let's see real quick. Okay, so I'm looking real quick. I don't see anything else on that, but let me just double check. And it's supposed to be a press conference at 6. All right, let's go. I might be able to pull it off if we got. All right, sorry, I'm just checking the. Okay, this video is not bad. I think it's YouTube friendly. Let me bring it in real quick. All right, so here is what was happening at the church when the person came to get himself deleted.
You'll stay and move around the foyer.
Green hearts in the chat when you can hear, please.
And let the kids tell you about the great treats we had this week, and have some too. Thank you. Oh.
Get out.
Come on, everybody to the back. Please, everybody come to the back. Come to the back, John. They gotta come. They gotta come. Come on.
Come on. Come on.
Come on. Out, I don't think is a good idea.
Okay.
Come on, Aaron.
Okay. Just got a message from my head of security. This is a prime example of why it sounds bad, and it might sound a little robotic, But your church needs to have a very clear evacuation plan. We have an evacuation plan for 9 different events and the such of that nature. If this happens, we exit this way. If this happens, we shelter in place. If this goes on, we do this, and so on and so forth. And I'm not saying that it would have fixed this, but if this had been a much more coordinated attack, there have been a lot of people that have been hurt because they didn't know where to go. And it doesn't appear in my quick assessment, just looking at it, that it's clear what to do and give what orders to give. Example being, if I am the deacon of the month and I'm responsible for this, and I recognize that this is a, an active event, that I'm giving those active event instructions. Everybody just come to the back. Everybody just come to the back. I feel like it's not very clear and giving people good directions, because I don't think they fully know what's going on. But that's just my little quick observation. And we do this all the time. We have several, we don't have a formal like fire drill type of thing at our church, but there are key people in the church that know exactly if there were an active shooter at our church, what to do and to give those directions. So they would give the directions, the right directions, not just everybody, scramble and run around like your hair's on fire. But no, they give very clear directions if this was a tornado drill or another event. I'm trying to think of another event off the top of my head, but you got my point. So I do think that they should probably institute a security team, 20 men, 5 groups of 5, and they just have very clear directions on what to do in every event under the book. And our head of security is a fanatic about this. Again, we have a very big security team book that goes over every possible scenario that we can imagine, short of like an asteroid. I don't think we have an asteroid plan, but everything else, we got a wild animal plan. we got a lot of things, lost child plan, so forth and so on, like that, fire, of course. And I think it would be good because just looking at this, it gives that they don't really have a clear what to do. Now, of course, you got children, and that adds a level of complexity to it that you just you can't, you just can't with kids. So no shame or anything like that. But like all of our, there's no audio, by the way. We don't have a barbecue runs out at the lunch gather. We've been pretty good. We whenever we've had lunches and our barbecues and our such like that, they stay pretty well stocked. At least everybody's been properly filled. So usually by the 3rd setting, we might be, the barbarians might come to the gate, but everybody else is satiated. So yeah, just I would love to know. I would love to know, okay, what does this room look like? What is the floor plan? There's a reason why you probably shouldn't have it, but I would love to know what the floor plan is. Like, where's the back that they're sending these people to? Where's that going? And do they have a very clear escape route, escape plan for their parishioners? I think that would be good. Again, I don't know if they do. I'm not saying I got it all locked down. I know exactly what their problem is by any means. Shout out to Deacon Dan or Deacon John, who hit that guy and ran him over. Shout out. That's still hilarious to me. I don't care what y'all say. I do not care. That is hilarious that he ran him over. He said, look, I'm putting your head to bed right now, and ran him over. You can't be mad at that. You cannot be mad at that. He might have had mental health issues. It's very possible. All right. I don't see any others. I think that's the most up to date that we have at this moment about what's going on in about 30 minutes, give or take. They're supposed to have a They're supposed to have a press conference on it. The mayor of Wayne, Michigan had something to say. I just want to know how y'all run that man over. That's all I want to know, man. That's crazy. Yeah, we living in some wild. It's an evil world we living in, y'all. It's an evil world we living in, but to God be the glory. Good gracious. Yeah, I don't see anything else about that, but I'm sure there'll be some more. Of course, there'll be more as time goes on. Let's is this the mayor? I think this, I don't know who the mayor is. Here, let's bring this in. We'll look at it because did I do it right? I did. Why is it not popping up? Because I'm struggle streaming over here, y'all. Thank y'all so much for rocking with us. There we go. Let's go. Green hearts in the chat when you can hear.
It's Wendy Bowden, Bodin.
All right, Wendy. So what did you see? You were in the sanctuary earlier, right?
Yes. The VBS kids were up on stage giving their little songs that they learned, and I had to use the restroom, and I was on my cell phone because my granddaughter called me. She was supposed to be there today. And I went out in this lobby, and I was by the front of the building where the glass is, and I saw a man on the ground, but I heard a big boom, and I thought he got hit or crashed his car or was hurt. And another lady said, she said, oh my, and then she pointed to me and said, call 911. So I started to, and I started hearing pop, 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 and I just booked it to the bathroom, and I hid with another parishioner, and we heard footsteps running and a lot of gunshots, and we just stayed there until everything was quiet. And then we got out of the building and went out into the woods where everybody was gathered.
Wendy, what went through your mind as you were thinking?
It was the scariest thing I've ever been involved in. I was hiding in one of the bathrooms. I stood on the toilet and shut the door. Nobody else was in there but me and Tish. And we were just praying, and we didn't know what was going on, but we knew it was bad. And hearing all the gunshots and just praying that everybody was safe. We were just scared. We were very scared.
I watched a live stream earlier of today's worship service. It looked like when the teacher was aware of what was going on with the kids, it's like they went in this orderly, line. It's like they had practiced a drill before.
Yes, our security team is very trained.
Shout out to the security team.
And they know protocol, and as do the leaders, especially the leader of all the kids programs. And fortunately, they got everyone out of the building safe. No one was hurt. We did have one man, parishioner, got shot in the leg, but he's okay. That's from what I've been told. So praise God.
Okay. If you could look over here at me, you're good?
I think we were all rolling on that.
Oh yeah, no, I wanted to ask a question, that's all. Okay. So I'm wondering, we hear about these shootings all the time, but did you ever think something like this would happen at your church?
No, never. I mean, yes, my husband actually used to be on the security team, and he was trained as well. And I always took it like, oh, do they really need it? But you hear of things like that happening, but you never think it's going to happen to your own church. And it did. So thank God for the security,
Shout out to the security team.
And when those shots rang out, can you kind of bring us into that moment? What was that like?
It was super scary because I knew there was a shooter at that point. I knew it wasn't a hurt maintenance man or a car accident. And it was like, it's unreal. It's surreal. Like, you can't process it. It's just, you're just praying that you're going to be safe and your loved ones are safe.
And obviously, I mean, you're a churchgoer, you're praying right now. How are you using your faith to kind of get through something like this?
It's everything. It's everything. I heard Tish in the stall next to me praying saying, Lord, please protect everyone. And it's just everything. The Lord did watch over us and keep us safe, thank God. We actually had an outdoor service last Sunday because it was Father's Day, and the BB, the sanctuary, had to be cleared out. We're kind of wondering if the gunman thought we were going to be outside again. I don't know, but if that would have been the case, it would have been a different story, I think. So thank God we were indoors, and he didn't, from what I've been told, he didn't get in the building. So that was also another answered prayer.
Now, the last question I think I have, that man with his truck who saw the
Shout out to
shooter
Deacon
and ran
John.
him over. Do you know that person?
Yes, he's part of our security. He's actually one of the elders of our church. From what I've been told, I don't know the facts, I haven't talked to him, but he saw the gun and he saw the man trying to either get in the building or shoot through the building, and he acted with whatever he could
Shout out
do
to
to stop him.
Deacon John.
Wendy, the way it's been told to me, it sounds like the two armed securities engaged with the shooter. One of them got shot in the leg, returned fire, and the other security guard apparently got in a vehicle and then ran over the suspect allegedly.
I don't know. I just
I like the
know
way she
the
said
guy
that.
that got shot. I don't think he's on security. He is an elder of our church. I'm not sure about that. And as far as the other security guys, I don't know who acted, but I do know that there was shots fired. I don't know who was firing. I just heard shots fired. So,
Or who got in that vehicle?
yeah, I know the person that was driving the vehicle, but I don't know how it all. I was in the bathroom, so
Right.
I can't speak for him.
In all those kids, what did you kind of see their reaction? There's a lot. Is that normal for all those kids to be there?
No. Well, most of the kids that are in VBS probably are belong there, but there are a lot that come that don't belong to our church. I don't know how many new people were there, but yeah, the kids were definitely shooken up, and I'm pretty sure I saw a lot of them crying, and
Why would you not be?
pretty traumatized, I
Yeah.
would say. So
Thank you so much for speaking with us. I know it's a hard thing.
How many people would you say?
Oh, real quick. Okay, so got a text message. The chaos that we saw with them leaving out and it didn't look orderly to us, but it really was orderly. So shout out to the security team. They do have a plan. So I want to make sure I say that correctly. They do have a plan. So it wasn't chaos or running around with their hair on fire. They actually did know what they were doing. So shout out to them. And shout out to the deacons and elders being properly prepared. They said, look, man, we got this thing on our hip. We got Jesus in our heart. One way or another, you're going to meet the Lord. So shout out to them. All right, let's go.
They were in there.
well, we had over 100 kids, I thought they said, attend VBS. Not all of them were there, obviously. So I'm not sure.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Did you already say and spell your name for us? I can't remember.
It's Wendy Bowden, Bodin. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. And can you give me your first and last name? Can you spell it out for me?
Renee Hughes, ReneHughes.
Okay, so talk to me. We're waiting right now. You're waiting to talk to your family. They're over on the other side of this fence. They were at church today.
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
Well, my mom goes here to this church, and they have Vacation Bible School last week. So the kids were doing a program. So my nephew, his wife, and kids are here, and there's a bunch of my family here, and my mom.
Why weren't you there?
So
Renee?
you live in this area as well.
Yeah.
And what did you hear the gunshots? What kind of happened?
No, I just heard all the sirens, and then my daughter called me, and that's really it. I didn't hear. I just heard tons of sirens.
Okay, and when your daughter called, what did she say?
She just said Olivia texted her, which is my cousin's daughter, and asked if my mom was okay, and told her what happened. So I jumped up out of bed, walked up here.
And at this point, you're just waiting to see them, calm them down, and just give them a hug. They're okay, but just to embrace them.
Yeah, it's scary, very scary. I'm glad the front doors were locked of the church. So
Yeah. And you were telling me too that supposedly there's this truck involved, and the person that was driving that truck that tried to stop this suspect.
yeah, it's my cousin's husband.
Oh my
What I
gosh.
understand, that he hit him, and there was a security guard there, armed security guard there, that took him out. Is from what I understand. I mean, obviously I'm going by what I was told. But
Yeah. And I think last question for you, what's this all like for you? I mean, this is your neighborhood, your family's over there, and there's this scary situation unfolding. What's this like?
it's very scary. I'm glad the front doors were locked. Why would somebody go to a church? It just, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, I'm sure everybody's trying to figure that out. Why? I mean, I don't know if the person goes to that church or where they're from, but it's scary, very scary.
Anything else you want to add?
No, I'm just glad everybody's okay.
Thank you so much, Renee.
When you first got that message, what was going through your head?
I jumped up out of bed and started calling my family and called my brother and, just called my family.
What were
And
you thinking?
I was kind of freaking out. Then my first instinct was to walk up here because I'm right around the corner. I mean, I figured they probably wouldn't let anyone through, but just to be here when they are able to come through.
And at that point, I mean,
You're
you
supposed
kind
to
of
be in
thinking the
church, Renee.
worst in that, you hear shots fired, like my family's in there.
Yeah, they shot at the door because they couldn't get in. I mean, I'm just glad the door was locked.
Thank you so much, Renee.
Thanks for talking.
No, you're good. I hope they let you see your family soon.
We appreciate you. Won't take long.
Who's that?
All right. You want
Who is you?
hold the stick mic?
Yeah.
Thank you. We can hold it for you. Yeah. Thank you. And then just make sure you look at the center camera. Yeah, look at that.
Can you just give us your first and last name? Can you spell it out?
Okay, it's John Racy, JOHNRHAESA,
Okay. And Mayor.
Mayor of the City of Wayne.
Okay. So you got this call, something pretty tragic over here. What are you guys doing right now?
We're just trying to get everybody to a safe place and working on securing the church at this moment.
Okay. And obviously, we're going to get details from police, but when you got this phone call that this happened in your community, what was your reaction?
Just horrible, just devastating. This stuff shouldn't happen. It's just a horrible, horrible day. Thank God it's turning out better than it could have.
Okay. And what do you want your community to know?
That that the people in the church are safe. So, and things are under control. We have amazing first responders that have done an outstanding job today.
Okay. Anything else?
Just thank you for being out here and just pray for everybody in the church and dealing with what they had to deal with.
Okay, shout out. But hey, let's shout out Deacon John and the F-150. Come on now. Let's not minimize Deacon John. And
This week's
F-150.
warrant.
Come on now. All right, so that was an update on that. What happened in Michigan today. Wayne, Michigan, if you just jumped in, outside of Detroit, they had a possible person wanting to cause harm to the church, but a security guard interfered and a deacon or elder driving his truck neutralized the threat, and now he is in his eternal judgment. So shout out to them, man. Yeah, all I would be able to do as well, unless I'm on security, then I have to do other things. But thank y'all so much for jumping in. That was good. Hopefully it was informative. We started out talking about the church attack in Damascus, which was horrible, very tragic event. A gentleman came in and detonated a suicide bomb in the church. About 20 people passed away, 53 or so have been injured. And then, of course, we just heard about what happened here in Wayne, Michigan. Thankfully, nobody was hurt, and he was neutralized. The only person who was hurt was that man, and that's because he got hit by Deacon John's F-150, and Quick Draw McGraw finished the job off for him. So shout out to that. And at 6 o'clock, they're supposed to have a press conference about it. So I need to actually make sure I have that queued up and make sure we're ready. I wouldn't mind hearing what they say. And he said it was supposed to be at 6 o'clock. It's going to probably be whenever o'clock. I'm just looking to see. Benny has talked about it. I might have to pull up Benny real quick. Yeah, see, Benny Johnson's talking about it. It looks like it's pretty short, so let's just pull Benny in. And well, I thought I had Benny. Sorry about that. All right. What did you say, Mr. Benny? What you got here? All right. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, it's about 9 minutes. That'll give us a good little run up to the time of the press conference. So let's bring Brother Benny up in here. Benny Johnson. Shout out to Benny. All right. Green hearts in the chat when you can hear my loves. Let's go.
What's up, guys? Benny, a horrifying story on this dark Sunday with a sliver of light and a silver lining, perhaps a miracle witnessed today. The persecution of Christians. Christians remain the single most persecuted religion on earth. That's an absolute matter of fact. There are genocides that are ongoing right now against Christians all around the globe. You never hear about them. Nobody ever wants to talk about them. And maybe we should start asking why. When you search persecutions of Christians on Wikipedia, hardly a far right or Christian-friendly site, you'll have to, well, break your fingers off scrolling, as I am right now. And you can see the cursor. I'm not even halfway through the amount of Christian persecution that has been cataloged throughout the ages. It stretches on and on and on and on into the modern day. It's just a matter of absolute fact that Christianity is often hunted and targeted by darkness. Ladies and gentlemen, this was the case in Michigan, where an active shooter tried to mass slaughter a bunch of children inside of the church itself. You can see here that there's a Bible camp going on here in Wayne, Michigan. Building. Cross Point Church is the name of the church. Ladies and gentlemen, the video is chilling, but there's a miracle hidden within the horror. Horrific footage of the church's service live stream showed the moments that frantic families started running for their lives when an active shooter opened fire. Cross Point Church in Wayne, Michigan, was hosting its Sunday morning mass when the suspect, described by police as a white man, 31, suddenly rammed into the building and started shooting bullets at terrified congregation inside. Deputy Chief Finley Carter III of the Michigan's police department said the suspect identity wasn't being released at the time. They were still investigating the motive. The department confirmed unnamed suspect was killed on the scene by a church's security guard. One victim was shot in the leg. So, and this is remarkable, by the way. This is an article that has not been updated. The story of this is that a individual walked in with a semi-auto and decided to start firing. And he was immediately confronted by a member of the congregation who was armed. He was killed before he was able to do any, take any lives.
Neutralized.
And then he was run over.
Neutralized.
The ramming happened from a congregation member. One of the deacons of the church got in his F-150 and ran over the shooter. Freaking unbelievable.
Neutral.
Here's the moment, ladies and gentlemen, where chaos broke out in the church itself. Plenty of children there in what looks like on stage to be some type of Bible camp.
Come to the back. Come to the back, John. They gotta come.
And
they gotta come. Come on.
So this would have been obviously easy targets for this monster, were it not for divine providence
I don't think it's a good idea.
and security.
Come on here.
The smashing of the vehicle and the armed guard protecting the children, the hand of God, I think you could argue here. Spokesperson for the police department said that no one was killed in this attack, but there were some injuries. And some people are at the hospital getting them tended to, but nothing is life-threatening. Shooting occurred around 11:15 a.m., half an hour after the service had begun. Deputy Director of the Federal Bureau of Investigations, Dan Bongino, shared a statement on X saying that they were on the ground, the FBI was on the ground providing assistance and investigative support. Duane County. One of the church's senior pastors, Bobby Kelly Jr., told the Detroit News that a member ran the shooter over, giving the security guard a chance to shoot them. This is what we're talking about here. Okay, so it has been updated. The original report was that the shooter rammed their vehicle into the congregation, into the building, but it was actually a member of the church that ran over the shooter with his truck. He, the suspect, was run over by one of our members who saw what was happening when he was coming into the church, the pastor said. He added that there were around 150 people there in attendance for the Vacation Bible School service. Many of the attendees were children. The pastor said the congregation initially heard noises outside and they thought it was from construction. He said the church decided to hire a security team over a decade ago in response to accelerated violence against places of worship. Oh, that's awful. Well, the children, of course, are sitting ducks without protection. The congregation's leadership is planning a meeting to put together a plan for dealing with the tragedy's aftermath. When asked about the children who witnessed the tragic event, he said they were doing good, that the congregation was coming together to support one another. Oh my gosh. Amazing. Church security guards shot and killed the attacker. Church member ran over the suspect with a truck to stop the threat. One person, the security guard, was shot in the leg, but no other injuries. Reported the church was filled with worshipers when the shooting started. Heroic action that saved lives. Let's hope the wounded guard makes a full and total recovery. Amazing, ladies and gentlemen. Security guard outside of Fort Wayne took down a crazed gunman. A churchgoer ran him over with a Ford F-150. Roughly 150 people, including kids, were in the church when it happened. You can see it inside of the church in this horrifying video that's all over my timeline. Many children were present. Christianity is under attack. Anybody saying otherwise is lying. The assailant was killed. Thank God. Attacker in Wayne, Michigan, rammed his truck. See, this is out of date. But anyway, the point is that he was shot and killed. Stay vigilant, stay armed, and pray. Pray. This is what the sweet and humble church looks like there in Michigan. Oh, it just like breaks your heart looking at it and thinking about how bad things could have gotten were it not for this church having a guard and having people with their head on a swivel, right? Security guard fatally shot the suspect. At least one person is injured. Goodness. And here's Bongino saying that they are on the ground. If there's a manifesto, make sure Gretchen Whitmer doesn't get her hands on it. It'll disappear. And that's right. God bless the church deacon who ran over the would-be mass shooter. The church security guard was shot in the leg. Pray for recovery. Pray for the Lord's discernment and quick action. Gosh, that would have been a horrible, horrible tragedy. God bless these F-150 drivers. Unfortunately, not the case in Syria. Horrifying, a Muslim terrorist blew himself up in a church during Sunday Mass in Damascus, Syria. 25 people are dead, 80 hospitalized, including 30 in critical condition. Pray for Syrian Christians. Oh, it's terrible. Look at this. Oh, it's so awful. So this is one that didn't get stopped. This all happened within an hour of each other. Suicide bomber just blew himself up in a church in Syria, dozens killed. Syrian Interior Ministry says ISIS linked group plotted this. Ladies and gentlemen, pray for Christians around the world. Pray for the safety of our religion. Pray for God's hand of protection. What happened in Michigan could have been just like what happened in Syria. Could have had the exact same effects or worse. Pray for the faithful all around the world in the single most targeted, oppressed, and demonically attacked religion on earth, which is Christianity. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Sunday, and so get down on your knees and pray for God's guidance right now in this country. There's so much going on. And in these moments, you just got to lock in and know that God is in control. It's your boy, Benny. Like and subscribe. See ya.
Grace and peace, Benny. Thank you, man. That was a good summary. Thank you, sir. All right. So if you just jumped in, we were looking at the potential, the thwarted, neutralized attack on a church in Michigan, as well as what happened in Damascus. I probably should check X and see if they've got any new updates on that. Let's just look real quick. I'm looking for the news, where the newscast is going to be. Oh, all right. I was looking to see where the news press conference was going to be. So let me grab that first and then and have that set up. But thank y'all so much for jumping in with us. I just thought it was really interesting that this happened today. Oh, okay, they're ready for the presser already. Let me pull this in just in case, because they look like they are ready for it. They already got it set up. All right, and then I'll jump over to X. Okay, real quick, green hearts in the chat that you can hear. I'm gonna mute it, but just want to make sure you can at least hear it. If you could green heart and let me know that, that'd be great. All right, let's see. All right, just checking real quick. All right, I'm looking very quickly to see if we can get any new X updates on Twitter. All right. All right, so I can. So, just a little side note. Okay, side note. I'm gonna do a quick jump over. Make sure I got that still. Okay, I got it still queued up. Okay. In Chicago, that they've been having a bear of a time. I did a video talking about the curfew that they're trying to institute. Well, this alderwoman is speaking against the curfew, and I just want y'all to hear this. I just want you to hear what the problem is and what she thinks the solution should be. It's a quick video, and then we'll jump back over to, hopefully it'll be ready for Wayne, Michigan. Green hearts in the chat when you can hear.
13. Those young people today are the 2025 Illinois high school champions. That's what we do to our young people. Is that what we're going to continue to do? The top cop, Superintendent Snelling, says this is not a tool he will use to harm our young people. What happened to the young people that we actually lock up and their families can't pay the fee? Nobody is able to answer those questions. At the end of the day, the city of Chicago needs to do what it does not do, which is listen. We need to listen. Young people are saying, think about this. I represent a ward that is adjacent to the Obama Presidential Center. I don't have a bowling alley. I don't have a Chuck E. Cheese. I have nothing for young people to do. And so they want to come downtown. Now, when I was a kid, I didn't come downtown because I had what I needed in the community. We know this system has taken that away. And so why allow this system to put a curfew, which does anybody know that we already got a curfew? So we're going to do another one. So the mayor doesn't agree with it, and nor does the top cop, and we'll continue to do it. And so when these lawsuits come, I'm going to vote yes for these lawsuits. I'm going to pay these people what they owe. Yes, we broke. Yeah, we don't got it. But if you're going to continue to do things that harm our young people, y'all talking about this our future? This is what y'all think of our future. We're gonna lock them up because we know that the young people y'all gonna look like me. That's who y'all gonna lock up. Y'all gonna look past other folks that don't. Right. And we're not even gonna talk about the young people who are starting this. They ain't even young people. It's some old man that live in the suburbs who is keeping this up. Arrest his ass. Put him in jail. Leave our young people alone. We've made it clear. I am voting no, no, no. Anybody that votes yes, remember, y'all about to be able to vote. Y'all 17 and 18 years old, vote their ass out of office. Have the day y'all deserve.
All right, so y'all know Chicago's is having a rough go at it. And why, for the life of me, I cannot understand why you would want your child. They do have a curfew already. Yes, they already have a curfew. They clearly don't adhere to it because the new curfew that they were referring to just kind of overlaps this one. And I don't understand why. Well, I do think I understand why Chicago wants to be a failed state. But even more than that, why are these parents allowing their kids to be outside in these streets this late at night? Why is that? Just because you're a bowling alley and Chuck E. Cheese? Come on, for real? That's what's gonna fix the problem? Bowling alleys and Chuck E. Cheese? Get out of here, man. You insane. Man, that is just outright insanity. We need to hold these parents accountable and say, your children, you need to keep your kids in. If your child does not have a job or have a good, valid reason to be out in these streets, why are they out? Because all it's going to do, all I believe is going to happen is Brandon Johnson is setting it up so that you have these children out in the streets. You got people out here protesting ICE and doing everything like that. And somehow or another, because people get deleted in Chicago all the time. They don't even report it like they used to. But there's going to be an instance where a child is out in the streets at one of these youth takeovers, teen takeovers, whatnot like that. And somebody's going to do something to neutralize them. And then everything's going to hit the fan. Everybody's going to become an activist. NAACP, Rainbow Push, BLM this, everybody's going to come out of the woodwork because some child got deleted, some child got neutralized during one of these little ignorant teen takeovers. And that's what's going to end up happening. And they're going to want you to be marching and wearing t-shirts when I'm asking the question now, why y'all allow y'all kids to be out in the streets like that? There's so much time of the day. Why are they out at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning? Why is that? What good happens? What good happens from your kids being out that late at night? For the life of me, I don't understand it. I just feel like they just want to be failed. And they'll find somebody to keep caping for this argument, keep pushing for it, and just allow. And I do think that's what Brandon Johnson's hoping for, is that, in my opinion, is that something will pop off, some child will get deleted, some teen will get neutralized, and then they'll be able to raise all the cane they want to do. They have Chicago Fire 2.0, the next great Chicago Fire. That's what I think is going to happen. Because it's just sitting on a powder keg of insanity. Okay, so if you're wondering, if you are asking, what are we talking about today, Jason? All right, we got the Wayne, Michigan, Wayne church shooting. Police are going to give an update after security guard neutralizes the gunman. All right, so we're going to talk about that real quick. So thank you so much for jumping in.
I got more people talking in here. No, I was already not having an exception.
All right.
Yeah, first of all, it would be. The one in Williams, it was predominant 70%.
All right, we are looking and waiting to hear from the police chief. Hear what's going on. Ooh, all right. Just looking through. What do we have here? That is funny. That is funny. I agree with you, Bruce. I don't think I've heard much about it either. I mean, there's been 2 church attacks today, one in Damascus and of course one in Wayne, Michigan. And I've heard anything about them. All right, we are just, as soon as they jump in, we'll go live, of course.
Just that white truck, but you can see the body. No, I need to get this game on the you said
the one shot where you kind of see it, I got it right out of it. Like the one shot where you kind of see it, I got it. And like the other shot too, I made sure there was like grass.
And it's a nice quarter in a new city. No. Doesn't even connect to me. How do I take a weekend off?
Like currently I got Monday, Tuesday off. But like now with that shit pick, I took Thursday, Friday off instead. Probably using it. No,
yeah. Well, I don't know, like, I honestly don't know what went through it. Let me message my editors and see like what the thought process was about that, and then, yeah, Thank you. They're just delayed, basically, I didn't want to manage.
You got a battery? Battery? Oh, fine.
Shout out to everybody. We're just waiting for the police chief of Wayne, Michigan tonight. Shout out to y'all. Thank y'all so much for tapping in with us. Just a quick discussion about the church shooting in Wayne, Michigan. All right, so it's 6:10. I don't know why it's taking so long. They said 6 o'clock.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, here we go.
Thank you for your patience, first and foremost. I'm Deputy Chief Carter. For anybody that does not know me or haven't seen my email communications coming throughout the afternoon, give us a little bit more time. As you are aware, things are very chaotic at this point and have not necessarily calmed down while we vigorously and diligently work towards getting you all the information that you are asking this evening. So in order to be as accurate as possible, we are working more to get all specific details and or questions answered that you will be asking. So give me a little bit more time and the chief and I will be with you. Is there any preliminary questions that I may be able to answer, not specifically or directly involved to the suspect and or motive? Because those are questions that you're going to ask, right? And I know that.
Do you have the approximate time of when you guys received the call about this?
You know, I actually was notified about 11:30 a.m. But I can be more specific with you when I do come back in.
Okay.
Okay.
Will we get the names, sir, of the suspect?
To be very honest with you, no.
No.
No, ma'am.
Do you have the status of the security guard who has been injured? Is he okay?
We do, and I will provide that to you during the release of all the other information.
Okay, thank you.
So we are going to brief you on that as well.
will you tell us if the suspect was a disgruntled former church member?
If we have that information,
Okay.
I will be able to share. But again,
Okay.
I want to be able to provide you the most accurate and detailed information possible to answer your questions, right? And so that you can put out the information to the public. So those are things that we're still working on.
Okay.
Do you have an ETA on when you might be able to come back?
Give me 15 minutes.
Okay.
This is coming from another person. The video that's been shown online of people hiding behind seats, is that authenticated as that actual church?
I have not been able to confirm or deny that.
Okay.
I have seen that video, but I have not been able to confirm or deny.
So you're thinking another 15 minutes before you guys do the press conference? Or is that, I heard somebody say.
That's the goal.
Okay.
That is the goal. But if not, I will be back in here within 15 minutes to update you again.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Fair enough. Anything else? Okay, hey, like I said, thank you so much. I know you guys have been sitting and waiting for quite some time. I appreciate you guys' patience, okay? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, the HD show's already over. They're streaming at least enough for later. Yeah, I know. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, so shout out. We are waiting for the Wayne County Police Chief. He didn't say how long it was going to be, but apparently it's a little bit longer than we anticipated. So, one in the chat if y'all want to hang out, or we can just come back later on and just do a recap. I don't know. All right, let's see. Yeah, pressers never seem to be on time. No, I agree. Yeah, but let me know if y'all want to. We'll just hold tight. And of course, we'll be here when they do start. But at the current moment, they're nowhere near starting. All right, what we got? I'm looking to see if there's any more information about it on the old interweb that we have not already heard. And I don't see any, so. All right. I thought it was late. You guys are still yeah, we are still waiting. Sorry, Miss Independent. Sorry about that, sis. We still waiting. All right, I'm looking, just checking the traps. And I don't see anything new, so I'm gonna go ahead and assume that it's not happening. All right, what we got? Nothing popping off yet. Nothing popping off. All right. I'm just checking to see if y'all are wondering. I was checking. All right. They are still waiting. They still ain't gone yet started. Come on, Wayne, you killing me. Let me bring this in for y'all.
Deputy Chief Finley Carter. Done so on.
Okay, everybody, thank y'all so much. We're just waiting for the police chief to come from Wayne County, or I'm sorry, the city of Wayne, Michigan, and talk about what has happened on today. If you're not familiar, there was a church shooting that was thwarted. The shooter was neutralized, and we're going to be talking about that. So thank y'all so much for tapping in with us. And I know it's been, I thought it was supposed to be 6 o'clock. So we've been filibustering for better than an hour. So shout out to that. Thank y'all so much for tapping in nonetheless. All right, so we are rocking and popping. I do want to say thank y'all so much for last week. Had some great videos, and we had some fantastic feedback from y'all. So thank you so much for checking out what we were doing over here. I plan to drop some great videos, of course, this week. So I appreciate you coming back again. Thank you to all the new subscribers. Welcome to the party. Hopefully you all are enjoying your time over here at DWC. Always, if you run across something or have a question about something, feel free to email management, dearwokec@gmail.com. Let me know what you run across or questions you might have. Feel free. Let me drop that in there as well for y'all. Here's the email, dearwokec@gmail.com. That's what I was wondering if it was 6 o'clock Illinois time, because it said 6 o'clock in the article, Eastern Standard Time. So I'm assuming they really meant EST, but I'm just looking real quick to see if we run across anything else I don't see. Wow. I'm just trying to see. I see they had something happen in Chicago, but nothing.
I didn't put MDMs in there. I didn't put what? I didn't put the MDM footage in the timeline though. I think that's separate. MDM. Or the treatment. That's supposed to have something.
He doesn't work here anymore, so.
Okay, so I don't know, man. I have no idea. Shoot me an email, dearworks@gmail.com. A little disappointed. I thought y'all would be ready to go, Michigan. Sorry about that. Thank you, Bruce. I'm glad that you checked in with us, man. I have no idea why they have not started yet. It's kind of foul. I might give it another 20 minutes because I've been filibustering for an hour.
Yeah, I know. And the time goes on there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that time code is, that time is the.
Let me rephrase. The time codes don't match the trip, but I can see.
I'm gonna go, I'm gonna look. I'm just gonna go, you know, so I can hear it and see it myself.
Yeah. I say it like that because like time codes don't match. It's like the zero start time. So like you say, yeah, that's pretty good. Like kind of we get this many minutes. Zero. So whatever.
All right. So I don't know what they're doing, y'all. I just read that. Let's see if it's accurate. Yeah. I'm really interested to see how what they actually say. So that's the only reason I do want to hang in there. But and I'm looking over here to see if there's any other news outlets maybe giving some updates, but I'm assuming hearing from the chief of police is probably the best avenue to travel. So. All right, so yeah, I don't know what happened, man. Yeah, I'm gonna bring in another channel and talk about what's happening in Iran, just to see if that props it up. Let's see what happens. All right, let's bring this in. Sorry, I hit the wrong button. You know, right when you get involved in something, it'll go south. So let's see if this changes it. Let's bring her in and hear a little bit about Iran. Let's go. Green hearts in the chat when you can hear.
We learned that there were 6 massive ordnance penetrators dropped on Fordo. And as the president wrote on Truth Social, that Fordo site is gone. My sources tell me that those bunker buster bombs would have been dropped through the air ventilation shafts at Fordo. So most likely 3 bunker busters through each of those shafts. We had been focusing on the entrances. There are 2 entrances to the Fordo site, which is 300 feet underground. We've also reported that the MOP bomb can penetrate about 200 feet underground, but they work in pairs. The B-2 bomber, which flew out of Whiteman Air Force Base, they fly nonstop and are refueled along the way to this site at Fordo. They drop one MOP bomb, a 30,000-pound bomb that goes about 200 feet down. There's soil that is then removed, exposed, and then the second bomb, which drops into a hole that has a radius of about 25 feet. It goes into the same hole and can go even deeper.
America has decided to bomb Iran, and new details have emerged on these 6 bunker-busting bombs that were dropped on a major Iranian nuclear site.
What we're looking at here is we're being told this is, I think, anywhere from just shy of 200 to 300 feet in depth. There are all kind of reports out there of 1,000 foot, but I think that's more propaganda. So what you end up doing is, if you saw the movie, the latest Top Gun movie, eerily enough, this is that plot kind of coming to fruition in real life. It's not just one bomb. It'll be a bomb after a bomb to get through that penetration.
And just lastly, that's what you're talking about. Can penetrate up to 200 feet below the surface. And then, of course, we'll see it try and put the second one in there and go down in there. Yeah. Let's bring in David Burke, our Top Gun and former Top Gun instructor, retired U.S. Marine Corps officer. Now, David, I don't know how well we did that, but you know this better than anybody. Talk to us about, questions over whether or not this can successfully be done.
Joey Jones just crushed that explanation. You guys hit the nail on the head. So really well done. This absolutely can be done. There is not a cave in the world deep enough to defend itself against the American military if it needs to hit it. And you described the weapon system and the aircraft and the mating of that exactly right. Now, this is a hard problem to solve, but it is absolutely a solvable problem with this system.
Fox News alert. I just spoke to the President of the United States. I have some new information and breaking details to share about tonight's what is historic air campaign. Now, tonight, Iran's nuclear ambitions They are officially dead. It appears the United States just completely obliterated Iran's top secret Fordow nuclear facility with 6 huge bunker buster bombs. It was originally speculated that you would only need 2. It turns out they used 5 to 6 dropped from America's stealth B-2 bombers. And that's not all. 2 other major Iranian nuclear sites, Natanz and Esfahan, were wiped out with 30 Tomahawk missiles launched by American submarines some 400 miles away. Everyone is out of harm's way for now. That does not mean that American assets in the region are not at risk. And we are monitoring the Iranian response or potential response all throughout the night.
The Iranian regime has been at war with the American people for 45 years, and their pursuit of a nuclear weapon was the final straw. And I thought when President Trump said tonight that they've been killing and maiming our people, and he decided a long time ago that this was not going to continue.
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier.
So this was a night of historic proportions. The president was courageous in making this move, in making this decision. And as you said, I think we're going to see the fruits of this decision tonight play out for many, many years to come. And if the Nobel Peace Prize were worth anything anymore, I would say the president certainly deserves one.
Congratulations, President Trump. Your bold decision to target Iran's nuclear facilities with the awesome and righteous might of the United States will change history. In Operation Rising Lion, Israel has done truly amazing things. But in tonight's action against Iran's nuclear facilities, America has been truly unsurpassed. It has done what no other country on earth could do. History will record that President Trump acted to deny the world's most dangerous regime the world's most dangerous weapons. His leadership today has created a pivot of history that can help lead the Middle East and beyond to a future of prosperity and peace. President Trump and I often say, peace through strength. First comes strength, then comes peace. And tonight, President Trump and the United States acted with a lot of strength. President Trump, I thank you. The people of Israel thank you. The forces of civilization thank you. God bless America. God bless Israel. And may God bless our unshakable alliance, our unbreakable faith.
This effectively destroys Iran's capability to enrich uranium at this level that they would need. There are thousands of centrifuges in these sites, and the fact that the Americans have the bombs and have decided to use them to strike deep underground puts Iran in a position where at some point it will have to make a decision about the future of this regime, because the Israelis went after many of the air defense systems around these nuclear sites. They went after the sites that they could target with the fighter jets that they have. We talked with those Israeli pilots earlier in the week, and now tonight President Trump ordering this strike, importantly against the Fordow nuclear facility deep underground, very close to the Iranian capital of Tehran, indicating that this strike will not only damage but likely destroy, if successful, Iran's nuclear program and their ability to go and get closer and closer to a nuclear weapon. We expect to get more reaction from Israeli officials tonight, Brett, about this key strike that will change the course of the Middle East forever. and also what they believe the Iranian response will be, if any, to these strikes. The Iranians still have the capability to strike Israel.
So Fordow, we understand, is gone. That is significant because that was the main nuclear enrichment site, and it was deeply fortified in that mountain. But then there are the two other sites. You have Natanz, which had 3 underground enrichment facilities. Those 3, we understand that 30 Tomahawk missiles were fired from U.S. submarines about 400 miles away from these sites, the sites at Isfahan and Natanz. Those U.S. submarines were most likely Ohio-class converted guided missile subs. Most likely the USS Georgia or Florida were involved in those strikes. What I'm being told, though, is that Isfahan is an even harder target than Fordow. We hadn't talked about it as much this week because all the focus was on the B-2s and the MOP bombs and Fordow. But Isfahan is where the uranium hexafluoride is, where the centrifuges are made. And my understanding is there is a tunnel into the mountain there, and it is much, much deeper than at Fordow. And so we will have to wait and see the bomb damage assessment at that site to see how, whether it was completely destroyed. I'm told from very, very knowledgeable sources that that was most likely the hardest site. So we'll have to see.
I know we're still getting new information coming in here, Jennifer, but just for kind of clarification here, we have been told, or we've been kind of reporting that the B-2s went in and they went into Fordow and may have dropped as many as 6 of the bunker busters, and there were as many as 30 Tomahawks fired at Natanz and Isfahan. And I'm wondering, do we know, have we ruled out the possibility of any bunker busters being used on Isfahan and on Natanz?
I'm told that the bunker busters were used at Fordow and that it was the Tomahawks that targeted Natanz and Isfahan. So at this point in time, you would have had at least 3 B-2 bombers there above Fordow. Again, when we woke up this morning, all our eyes were on the reports and the sightings, the radar trackers, the flight trackers who saw that there were those 6 B-2 bombers flying towards Guam. And now if you were to fly from Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri all the way to Iran, let's say, that's a 30-hour straight flight. So those bombers could not possibly have been involved in this strike. That's when we look at what would have been flying east. Clearly, some B-2 bombers from Whiteman flew east. And that's why we saw this week about 30 air refuelers that were positioned in Europe and along the way and throughout the Middle East, because they would have been required to create an air refueling bridge to get those B-2s. It's a 15-hour flight if you go east from Whiteman to Fordow. And so those bombers would have flown east and they would have been refueled along the way, and they would be on their way back home to Whiteman as we speak.
This issue is really divisive. There are people who see Iran as, if not the biggest, then one of the biggest sponsors of terror in the whole entire world. And they see and look at their past of how many U.S. troops have been deleted due to their actions. And so right now they are happy with President Trump's very strong and decisive moves. Then there's the non-interventionalist camp, and those people are just, hey, hands off. I don't want America involved in foreign people's conflicts. I don't want our troops over there. I don't want our money going over there. And then there's the camp that I'm the least concerned about, which is just, if Biden had done this, then they would have loved it. But because it's Trump, they hate it. And they're just not even thinking about any of the issues at all. It's just Trump bad. To be honest, I'm a little bit of camp 1 and a little bit of camp 2. I'm a very anti-war, pro-peace individual. However, I am concerned about Iran getting a hold of a nuclear weapon and what they would do with that. I definitely don't want our troops on the ground in foreign conflicts. And I am also concerned with, but I don't think that this is going to happen, but Pakistan decided to use their nukes in retaliation for what's been done to Iran. But that's just what I think. I would love to know what you think. So you got to let me know in the comments section below. What camp are you in? Do you think that this was a great idea? Do you think that this was a horrible idea? Or are you somewhere in the middle? Use my buy me a coffee link to buy Leroy a dog treat. Leroy, stop that. You're so cute. Oh, I love you.
All right.
I love you. You guys steal the show. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Red Dawn Daily with your host, me, Dawn Marie, and sometimes Leroy. Leroy, you're not bored, are you? Leroy, did you know that 9 out of 10 people only watch to see you? Yeah. I'm just kind of here holding space for you. It's true. It's true.
All right. Shout out to Red Dawn Daily. I'm sorry, y'all. This police report still hasn't come up. It's still the police press conference still has not started. But that was good. I wanted to hear a little bit more about what happened on yesterday or yesterday morning, however that shook out. But I did kind of want to hear a little bit more about that. So shout out to the bunker busters and the U.S. military showing again, like as they said right here, there isn't a cave deep enough. I agree 100%. Absolutely. Okay, so apparently they've raided. Do y'all remember we were doing a daily Pookie update on the escaped Pookies? Well, it appears that they've raided Brother Grove's home, parents' home, or family members' home, please forgive me. And let's see what happened over there. I'm trying to find the article. I'm trying to get caught up in something, so I know that they'll start this thing as soon as we get caught up in. Here we go.
And good evening, everyone.
Everybody's here.
Again, like
Green
I said earlier,
hearts in the chat. You can
so
hear.
much for your patience and your time. I know this has been a very warm day to have to cover this type of violent and tragic event. I am Deputy Chief Carter. First name is Finley. Last name is Carter. I am the Public Information Officer for the City of Wayne Police Department. Today, I have Chief Strong from our agency who will be briefing you and updating you with all of the information that we have up to this time. I would ask if you could just silence your cell phones or anything of that nature that could be disturbing during this time. Sir.
Thank you, Deputy Chief Carter. I'd just like to echo, I appreciate everybody's patience. I know we've been waiting for quite a while. I'm Chief Strong. My first name is Ryan. Last name is Strong, Strong. So I'm going to give a brief statement, and I'd be happy to take any questions at the end. At 11:06 a.m., the Wayne Police Department received multiple 911 calls regarding an active shooter at Crosspoint Church, 36125 Glenwood. Crosspoint Church is a large church located on the north border of Wayne. Officers arrived and determined that the suspect arrived at the church and began to drive recklessly, drawing the attention of church staff members. The suspect exited his vehicle wearing a tactical vest, armed with a long gun and a handgun. He approached the church building and began firing his weapon. Several staff members from the church approached the gunman. A parishioner struck the gunman with his vehicle as the gunman shot the vehicle repeatedly. At least 2 staff members shot the gunman, causing fatal wounds. 1 staff member was shot once in the leg by the suspect. The church staff members do not wish to be identified at this point. The Wayne Police Department is still investigating this incident with the assistance of multiple local, state, and federal partners. We are grateful for the heroic actions of the church's staff members who undoubtedly saved many lives and prevented a large-scale mass shooting. I would add that the church parishioners and staff members were trained in responding to emergency situations, which also saved lives. The gunman is a 31-year-old white male from Romulus. His motivations are unknown, but at this point, it appears he was suffering from a mental health crisis. That's the end of my statement. I'd be happy to take any questions.
What makes you, what evidence do you have that he was suffering from a mental health crisis?
Just some preliminary interviews we conducted on scene.
So you believe it was his intention to commit a mass shooting?
Yes.
What did he have to do with this church? Is he familiar with this?
We're not aware of any connection at this time.
So why this charge?
We do not know.
So you don't believe he was a disgruntled former member?
We have no information to that effect.
And he wasn't able to actually get inside the church.
That's correct. All of the events I described occurred outside the church building.
Was he 10 feet from the entrance or being able to access the church?
It was quite close to the church, but I can't speak to the 10 feet.
What kind of, did he have any past interactions with police on record?
Our interactions with him in the past were quite limited, but nothing of note.
Can you talk about the weapons and how much ammunition he had?
No, I don't have any further information this time other than it was a long gun and a handgun.
I'm sorry, sir.
A long gun, such as a rifle and a handgun.
What kind of prior criminal history does he have?
I'm not aware of any.
I know there's been talk, and I don't know if you've heard about this, is that he was posting photos of the church with ramblings about Christianity. Have you heard anything about that?
I've heard rumblings about that as well, but we're in the early stages of our investigation, and we're not prepared to identify him at this point either.
Did it seem like he had any other accomplice or anyone else helping him?
We have no information that anyone else was involved. I feel pretty confident that he was alone.
So he never physically got in the church, right?
Correct. He never entered the church.
And the person who was shot in the leg, that was a security guard?
He was a church staff member.
So he was outside?
Correct.
And he was shot by the suspect, the gunman?
So there were 3 to 4 church staff members. One of them was shot.
By
the suspect.
Was the staff member who got shot one of the 2 men or people who shot the suspect?
I do not believe so.
Do you have any indication that this might be an obvious question, but how pre-planned or if this was pre-planned?
I don't have too much information other than he arrived wearing a tactical vest and 2 guns.
2 guns, so one was a long gun and one was a handgun.
Yes.
And this happened about 11:01 a.m.
Our first call was 11:06.
What kind of vehicle was he driving?
I do not know.
The security guard that was shot, are they still in the hospital tonight?
Yes, security guard is awaiting surgery, but his injuries are not life-threatening. Okay, well, I appreciate everyone's time.
I have one question.
Sure.
Are you aware that there is a male whose name is being put around on social media?
I am aware. I don't intend to publicly speak the suspect's name. We'll certainly share with the media the name of the suspect via an email update. If everyone wants to sign in on their way out, we'll certainly provide that, most likely within 24 hours.
Can you just talk about the concerted effort from so many different agencies who all was out there?
I would just say we were overwhelmed with support from state, local, and federal agencies. Folks are still helping us and answer normal calls for service because we're so overwhelmed. So just from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And again, just one more thank you to the church staff members. I'm telling you right now, their actions prevented dozens of people from being murdered today. So
shout out to
Make sure
Deacon
you sign
John.
out so we can get you any updates. Thank you.
So real quick, I want to reiterate what Chief Strong has discussed regarding the media sign-in sheet that I have placed on the back table here. I've also included my business card with that, and that has my direct contact information. It is best to email me with any additional questions that I may be able to provide to you. At this point, I will be able to share direct responses as it pertains to the suspect in this case once you reach out to me and when it's readily available. Thank you for your time, guys. Appreciate it.
Do you all have a written press release?
I'll be providing one.
So how do we get that?
Yes, ma'am.
Email you?
Yes, ma'am.
You're gonna email those to the media?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
So we have to just put our email, Chief Deputy.
Thank you. I'm Summer with the news. Yeah,
Appreciate
thank you
it.
so much.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. No problem at all. Like I said, if you could just sign in, that is hopeful to me. Take my business card, shoot me an email because everybody has your media outlet. I typically will go direct.
I kind of want to hear what they're saying as they shut down.
I normally share my press releases. That's normally what I do. But if you send me one specifically, I will respond back to you directly with it.
So for that sign-in sheet, do you want email for your sign-in tests or do you want personal?
I have the sign-in text.
Okay.
I have the testing.
Okay, so shout out to them. All right, that is the end of the presser. What y'all think? Give me your feedback real quick before we get out of here. Give me your feedback. What'd you think about that presser? Elder John said, look, we ain't playing no games up in here. Elder Jones, I'm sorry. I think it's Deacon John hit him with his truck, though. That's crazy, man. That is absolutely bonkers. He said, "Oh, I got one for you. Watch this." And ran him over with a truck. That's crazy. But y'all, thank y'all so much for rocking with us. As this story develops, of course, I'll keep us posted. I was going to say there's an update, if you will, about Derek Groves, but I can't find. Okay, I can't find the actual article. I see another brother discussing it, but I'm trying to find the actual. It looks like they raided Derek Groves' aunt's house, but it doesn't look like there's anything. They ain't find Derek Groves. So if I find it real quick, maybe we can talk about it for a hot second. Okay, here it is right here. No, that's not. I don't want to use somebody else's. I don't know what that language is. Okay, this might not be bad. All right, let's bring this in just so we can get that Pookie update. Gotta get a little bit of Pookie. We ain't had a Pookie update in a minute, so I don't want to let y'all forget about them brothers. Them brothers still out there running them streets. So shout out. I mean, it's got to be bad. Even Marshall ain't sent me no updates. So I'm like, man, what is going on, Marshall? All right, real quick, let's go. Jailbreak escapee Derek Groves was nowhere to be found. Tips they received fooled everybody. Let's go.
A second New Orleans home searched by U.S. Marshals in less than 24 hours as investigators work to close in on escaped inmate Derek Groves.
Yeah, and that's as the two remaining jail escapees have been on the run for more than 1 month.
Derek Groves and Antoine Massey are officially in their 5th week of escaping with no signs of slowing down and no solid clues on where to be found. So law enforcement decided to turn up the heat, all in the name of Derek Groves.
They had all these guns in my face.
Then police demanded whoever was inside to exit the home.
They showed me a picture of Derek, asked me, do I know him? No, I don't.
Jasmine Groves, the aunt of escaped inmate Derek Groves, took this video showing the large police presence around her home.
I told them, babies in the house. I met him at the sidewalk, and one of them with the shield, and the guy got behind him, and they're ready to go in. I said, you. Now this is where I draw the line.
U.S. Marshals say they searched the home with permission and did not make any arrests.
With all eyes on Antoine Massey for the past 2 weeks, obviously allowed Derek Groves a silent time to make moves without the spotlight shining so bright on him. They're both facing multiple serious charges, but for Derek Groves, we're talking a higher level of seriousness. Even after they're back in custody, Antoine Massey will still have an out date, even if it is a long time. But for Derek Groves, it's a life sentence, which makes him even more of a threat in the eyes of the law. More than 1 month after the jailbreak, and all eyes back on Derek Groves.
27-year-old Derek Groves is one of the 5 escaped inmates, and he's still at large tonight. It is forcing witnesses into hiding.
Several years ago, Groves was accused in 4 killings, leading to convictions on 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of manslaughter.
Groves, along with Antoine Massey, are still on the run after escaping from OJC 1 month ago.
His grandmother was executed on order of corrupt cop Len Davis.
They found out Derek is my mom's grandchild. They put out one thing about saying Derek Groves got older, found the cop, his grandmother, Len Davis, released 3 of his loved ones. And, he's armed, he's dangerous, he's murder, capital murder, but a Mardi Gras situation, and he murdered other people. That is a complete negative.
Jasmine Groves is the auntie to Derek Groves and was in her mother's house the night her mom was departed by the hand of the former crooked cop, Len Davis. Jasmine has played a major role in keeping her mother's name alive, as well as defending and supporting her nephew through his time of escape.
Yes, my nephew is one of the escapees from New Orleans Parish Prison. I'm not against that. But the harassment and the things that are sending my family through, Wayne, I'm just oblivious right now. I am really, really upset.
1 month since 10 inmates escaped from the Orleans Justice Center. Police are continuing to respond to tips across our area to find these 2 escapees who are still on the run.
And tonight, one woman claims police came to her home in New Orleans searching for inmate Derek Groves.
One woman tells me she woke up this morning to a huge police presence right outside of her home in the lower 9th Ward. She tells me police were there searching for escaped inmate Derek Groves, who's been on the run for 1 month.
Law enforcement searched a house to see if Groves has been in contact with his family. Shay?
Family members tell me they just don't want these visits to escalate in any way. They tell me that they do not know where Derek Groves is. They also described to me what happened after hearing law enforcement knocking on their door earlier this morning.
I know my rights. I know what you can and you cannot do, and you cannot torture us from being family. Y'all after my brother child because y'all feel like, oh, he his cousin. He got to know where he at, this and that. Every time you go around, the ATF behind you.
By all means, Ms. Groves never changed her stance on her love and support for her nephew, which have recently given NOPD suspicion that Ms. Groves could possibly be hiding her nephew. So they decided to take a closer look.
So when I opened the door, it had like 12 cars. People, marshals out with their guns. This sad.
Jasmine Groves, the aunt of escaped inmate Derek Groves, took this video showing the large police presence around her home.
I told them, babies in the house. I met them at the sidewalk, and one of them with the shield, and the guy got behind him, and they're ready to go. And I said, "You." Now this is where I draw the line.
U.S. Marshals say they searched the home with permission and did not make any arrests.
They're now running out of people to point the finger at, as well as places to search for the remaining escapees. But by all means, the show must go on, even if it means constantly probing into the lives of their loved ones.
You cannot do this at all. Your job is to go be searching for them. I said, but I told y'all from the beginning, they're trying to find a reason just to fix. That's why you would have think, Wayne, that no more escapees is escaped but him.
It's been more than a month since the New Orleans jailbreak took place, and over time, many new stories have surfaced, new cases compiled, and many fingers being pointed. But out of all the chaos and confusion, there's one main factor. Derek Groves and Antoine Massey is nowhere to be found.
I don't know where he at. I haven't spoke with him. I don't even try to. Who am I contact?
Convicted killer Derek Groves and Antoine Massey remain on the loose. For the most part, Groves has been largely unspotted since the escape. U.S. Marshals tell WDSU they went to the home to re-interview a close acquaintance of Groves.
Well, I'm not saying that the people today were not honest. They were, actually. But we have had issues in the past where people have blatantly lied to us, and the person's been in the residence or at least nearby.
It's sad what they're putting our family through. Okay, we know who y'all are. We know y'all law enforcement. Do your job. I'm not against that. But if you're doing it right, it's the only thing, okay?
Marshals say they brought a large police presence in case they found Groves.
No, he haven't tried to contact me. Obviously, y'all don't know. Because, you know what I'm saying? So I'm asking, what is the relevance?
And Groves was convicted of murder last October. As we know, Groves and Massey are still on the loose. $50,000 for information on each. If you do know anything at all, you're being urged to contact Crime Stoppers.
I'm sure law enforcement is taking each tip very, very seriously, and not only following up on each tip that they get, but investigating each tip.
With each tip they received, they came up short with no Derek Groves and no Antoine Massey. But it didn't stop their reaction to the tips. Just one day before law enforcement visited Ms. Groves' actual residence, they went to her prior residence demanding Derek to come out.
One woman tells me she woke up this morning to a huge police presence right outside of her home in the lower 9th Ward. She tells me police were there searching for escaped inmate Derek Groves, who's been on the run for 1 month.
They had all these guns in my face. Like aiming.
Helena says she felt terrified seeing SWAT teams surround her home on Lizardi Street in the lower 9th Ward.
It was too many of them. It was so many of them.
Then police demanded whoever was inside to exit the home. Helena says police told her they were searching for Derek Groves.
They showed me a picture of Derek, asked me, do I know him? No, I don't.
Helena claims Derek Groves' aunt Jasmine Groves lived at the home years ago before she moved in. She believes this connection could be what led police to come to her home searching for Groves.
My nephew was trying to show, hey, by all means, I'm going to maintain my innocence. I'm innocent. So guess what? Yes, I have family that's not going to say throw him away or forgive him. He got to be. No, he is someone's nephew, someone's child. He is not a killer. He has not killed no one. And like I said, God will have his day.
The first 2 weeks of the jailbreak was mostly focused on simply catching who they could out the 10. The third week was steered towards Antoine Massey's video release and why they considered him the ringleader. Going into the fourth week, more stories surrounding the relationships of the last two escapees and all the drama that came with it.
New information regarding the arrest of an alleged accomplice, Dariana Burton, accused of helping Derek Groves escape. We just got a photo of her. Take a look. This was the moment she was arrested.
One of the biggest questions at this point is, are they still in New Orleans? And with that in mind, ain't no telling how long they could be on the run. They've already made U.S. history, and I'm sure it'll be talked about long after it's all said and done. But for now, like Pac said in his Me and My Girlfriend song, look for me.
All right, so okay, that's pretty interesting, man. They got a lot going on, man. Good gracious. So that's at least a little update. Shout out to Miss Independence. Now she sent me another one, which is it's about the same length. I just didn't know who the individual was, but now I know that it's Miss Independent. So I will no issue there. I apologize for that, Miss Independent. Let me go ahead and bring that in for you so that we can because again, it just kind of focuses on the fact that what we know is that they're going to start putting the screws to the parents and putting the screws to the family relatives because they got to get these guys. Imagine the police got to get these guys. They can't just say, well, we'll let bygones be bygones. They got to go after them. They got to get them. I mean, you can't have these people out on the street. I mean, Derek Groves is convicted. He's not just somebody that they're assuming has done these things. He's a convicted person with 4 bodies. That's crazy. Massey, not saying that he's any better, but still, like these are some dudes that need to be got off the street. So shout out to everybody that's been discussing this. So let's bring this in. Hopefully I did this right. I think I did. I did. Yeah, okay. Let's go.
Yeah, we on Boss Talk 101. Yeah, we gonna talk.
Search by U.S. Marshals in less than 24 hours as investigators work to close in on escaped inmate Derek Groves.
Yeah, and that's as the 2 remaining jail escapees have been on the run for more than 1 month now. WDS reporter Shay O'Connor explains that law enforcement searched a house to see if Groves has been in contact with his family. Shay?
Good evening to you, Stella and Gina. Yeah, family members tell me they just don't want these visits to escalate in any way. They tell me that they do not know where Derek Groves is. They also described to me what happened after hearing law enforcement knocking on their door earlier this morning.
So when I opened the door, it had like 12 cars. People, marshals out with their guns. This sad.
Jasmine Groves, the aunt of escaped inmate Derek Groves, took this video showing the large police presence around her home.
I told them, babies in the house. I met them at the sidewalk, and one of them with the shield, and the guy got behind him, and they're ready to go in. I said, you. Now this is where I draw the line.
U.S. Marshals say they searched the home with permission and did not make any arrests.
I don't know who he is. I haven't spoke with him. I don't even try to Google my contact.
Convicted killer Derek Groves and Antoine Massey remain on the loose. For the most part, Groves has been largely unspotted since the escape. U.S. Marshals tell WDSU they went to the home to re-interview a close acquaintance of Groves.
Well, I'm not saying that the people today were not honest.
They were kid on the way to school.
But we have had issues in the past where people have blatantly lied to us, and the person's been in the residence or at least nearby.
Marshals say they brought a large police presence in case they found Groves.
No, he haven't tried to contact me. Obviously, y'all don't know. Because, you know what I'm saying? So I'm asking, what is the relevance?
And Groves was convicted of murder last October. As we know, Groves and Massey are still on the loose. $50,000 for information on each. If you do know anything at all, you're being urged to contact Crime Stoppers. Reporting live from OJC, Shay O'Connor, WDSU News.
Wow, guys, make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, man. This is a horrible situation, but they're looking for Groves and Massey for sure. And we already know that, but it's getting down to a point now to where they're harassing the Groves family. They're frustrated. They're looking. Brian is having issues with this. That's the officer. I seen him the other day. Brian is not good with the way that these guys are hanging out, and he's ready to get them back locked up. But the Auntie Jasmine said they come through and it was just they sick of it. OG, what do you think about this?
And I mean, my sister came out there with her beret on. I thought she was a Black Panther when I first saw her. But anyway, well, there's a suspicion I have about this. When you listen to these people's story, that they had information, they were looking to talk to a close friend of Groves, but they didn't say he lived at that house. So what made you go to that house? And then before that, in preparation and going to the house, usually you do a surveillance. You hang outside and see who comes and goes into the house. You don't just blatantly show up there with 12 cars with shields because of who he is. You wouldn't do that in a white area. So I'm just saying that this is borderline harassment, but they would have went in anyway, probably. But she shouldn't have never gave him permission and walked her kids. If you don't have a warrant, that's what we failed to follow the law that works for us. If you ain't got a warrant, you don't have any probable cause because somebody that's supposed to be a close friend of his, Derrick Groves, her address is not a part of his case or anything that he lives there. He's just his own.
Well, first of all, I tend to agree with you that they didn't have a right. She gave them permission. I don't think they had a warrant. They said they was looking to talk to somebody they knew was, supposed to be at that house that was close to him. They was in unmarked vehicles. They've been riding around all night. They've been wanting to get in there all night. They've been riding around that house all night. They've been stopping people in that neighborhood all day. That's what they do when they're looking. They've been harassing that neighborhood, I believe. I don't think they just came straight to her house. I think they've been lurking around her house. I think they've been lurking around all of his relatives' house. That's what they do when they're looking. But at the end of the day, these people are tired. They have little children. Those kids have nothing to do with this stuff. And they need to back off, or either they need to figure out what they look. That man is long gone. We hadn't heard a peep from that man since he left. He just disappeared. And he ain't with no family members, as y'all have heard it on the phones or something. Now stop messing with those people. I really don't think it's necessary to come at them like that. Jasmine don't look like she looked just like Derrick, though. That definitely is auntie.
Definitely is auntie. But I just got a update on the dark web, right?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, man, look, Derrick Groves has just been spotted with Ibrahim Toure because Toure said that they come over to bring a posse, that he would give each one of them $100,000 and 10 acres of land. So Derrick is in over there with Ibrahim Toure. It just came.
Wow. Boy, that dark web, boy. Come on, OG. That dark web, we don't know what's going on. Where'd you find it on the dark web?
Hey, I'm telling you, I told you when I first caught my sins, bro, I'm sitting up in the hole in Palm Hole in Chino State Prison, bro. And one of my dudes I went to grew up with, he said, man, boy, I'm leaving tonight. You want to go? I'm like, hell no, I don't want to go. Man, that man they didn't arrest him until 2000. He turned himself in 2008. So from 1972 to 2008.
Ooh, that boy ran a long time. So you think Groves and Massey may be out that long?
Man, if they over there with him and the Steiner brothers escaped from San Quentin when Greg escaped from Chino, and they all went to Africa, and they got over to Africa, and they was gone ever since. And Achille, he turned himself in, and once he turned himself in, he did a year, and they let him go, but they wouldn't let his family. The family he made over in Africa, they wouldn't let them come to the United States. They wouldn't let him go back.
Boy, they got a lot of unmarked cars on here, OG. I'm looking at them. They got a blue Ford. They got a little SUV there. Then they got all kind of little cars, black cars too. We don't
even know if they real police or not.
No, because there's a lot of police in it. Yeah, you're right.
You don't know who them Ku Klux Klanmen are.
All I know is if they came to my house without no warrant, they're not getting in, and they're gonna be told to get away from the door. No, get away from the door. Move away from the door before I blow through the door.
Oh, now you say that, you getting shot. Don't get Miss Jamaica killed.
Yeah, don't get away from the door before I through the door. Yeah, stop playing.
Got one of them, bro.
Yeah, one of them semi. Everything, the whole damn thing, doing them little Dracos or something.
Be just like your staff writer talking about I had a big.
Oh man, don't do that. Don't bring her up on this. Let me be honest with you. You got to give credit to Jasmine. She handled herself well as Grove's auntie. She spoke up. She had her beret on, like I said, Black Panther style. She's not running around here. I don't think she's afraid with that hat that she got on. She's just frustrated. Y'all keep coming around here. And I'm going to be honest with you. You keep rolling around the neighborhood. You've been rolling around here all the time, but now you done got ridiculous. That man been gone. That man ain't came nowhere near that place. Y'all looking, and just tell me y'all ain't see the dog. You ever seen a dog that hunt? He get cold on the trail.
No, I ain't got no dogs.
Well, if you ever take a dog hunting, if he get off the trail, you gotta try to get him back on. I don't think they got a clue where Groves and Mass at. This kind of stuff here pretty much tells the truth about it. You don't know where he at. You just witch hunt.
Right, you already know that. That's from the first 48. After the first 48, bro, and ain't nobody telling on you. That's why I say they have to keep their circle close and who they dealing with, because their demise is going to come from somebody real close to them. Just like Corleone told Michael, when the deal goes down, the one that trades you is the one that set up the meeting. You understand me? So, hey, Mike, we need to talk. We need to get this and man. Look, that was the one that tried to betray him. So they got to watch. Actually, who they deal with, stay out of these folks' way, and man, just last until July 4th.
Can we get okay? So now we headed to July 4th. That's the new thing. I'm glad you said that. Can they make it out to July the 4th? Will be the new slogan. If they do, will they be firing up fireworks? The 4th will be on a Friday.
Friday. Thank God it's Friday.
So 2 weeks from today.
And I still say, you black attorneys in New Orleans and Louisiana, get off your black butt and help these boys out. Go to the prosecution. Do the same thing that End the Violence did in Ohio to bring that lady in safely and make sure she gets a fair shake. You need to do that. Take on. Matter of fact, I'm gonna call Sean Stevens and tell him to go to New Orleans tomorrow.
Come on now. We got to make sure that these guys are turned in safe. When they do turn in, that they don't get them out there and do something to them and unalive them or something. So we got to make sure to try to get with these guys and get them some legal representation now. Massey pleaded his case and told y'all basically he getting charged for the same thing in 2 different counties, and the charges was dropped or whatever, or the young lady came in. You don't know what the deal is with it, but somebody that a legal guy analyst that can look at his paperwork, because he got it with him. He showed it on the thing. He said, hey, they got me wrong, Jack. And NBA young boy, somebody come help me.
But see, with Grove, Grove don't have no alternative. He's already been convicted of 3 murders. So he don't really have a leg to stand on in a bargaining chip. So the best thing he can do is stay out long as he can.
Yeah, but that's the crazy part about it, because you think about Groves, man, he out there, man, he just trying to figure it all out now. And maybe probably a new city somewhere, just, you know, kind of low key doing what he do. I don't think he's in New Orleans no more. I really don't.
No,
I think he's gone.
He was over there with Tori. I'm gonna send you the picture.
Dude, I don't want it, OG. Keep that damn picture. Don't send it to my phone. I don't see no picture of Massey that the news don't have already, nigga. Do not send it to my phone. Keep it over there with you, my guy. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know nothing about where this dude at. If I did, I'd go and get that 50. How about that, since you want to play? What a 50.
You ain't gonna turn them boys in for 50, are you?
Nah,
Yeah, I
don't need
would.
50, but 100, I don't know, man. It's getting tough.
I'll turn both
So
in.
you'll get naked for 100 too, huh?
No, I ain't said that, OG. Now, see, you're going too far. But no, I don't think I'd turn. I'm like I said, somebody is not looking at the money. They're looking at keeping them boys free, girls. I agree with what's that guy, Matt Dennis. I agree that somebody's helping them, you know.
Oh yeah, somebody helping him. Matt Dennis, he helping him too.
You think Matt in it too?
Matt helping him too, running this big mouth and keeping white America on cue, and he's staying right up under the radar.
Well, like I said, the granddad, everybody has reached out. Each family member has reached out and said a few things to try to encourage them to turn themselves in, and they denied it. They said they denied it by just not answering, guys.
We ain't turning nothing down but our collars. It's all up and on.
Check it, man. Hey, listen, guys, make sure you guys like, subscribe to the channel, guys. And also, guys, like I said, look and see. Do y'all think Jasmine wrong for being tired of these police harassing her? Jasmine, pretty much Groves, is having issues out of those people in unmarked cars just circling her house. Guys, get in the comments. Let us know what she can do. And also, guys, if you know a good attorney, like OG said, try to link an attorney up with these boys so we can get them some legal help if they and they can go in without getting themselves executed. But get it, hey guys, if you're still watching, hey, right here it should be a thing on Diddy's trial. That boy come through today, the mule boy, they got busted. But boy, it's some stuff y'all ain't seen, so it should be somewhere right here. So let us know what you think, man. Yeah. Boss Talk 101 reviews.
Okay. Shout out. Okay. All right. So we got a Pookie update. We found out about the church in Damascus. We found out about the church in Michigan. I think we've had a productive day, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a productive 3 hours. It's been productive. Absolutely. I hate it about this whole Pookie thing because I do think that it's going to turn into a situation where the police are going to get extra frustrated. The family and the community are going to get frustrated. And those two guys, whether you want them to get fair justice or street justice, I think it's just going to go wrong for them because people are going to get frustrated and tired of, the police looking everywhere, under every rock, the community getting tired of them looking under every rock. Yeah, it's going to get bad. So y'all pray for them. But thank y'all so much for rocking with me. I appreciate you. Mom, dear World Christian, has shot me a message, needs some help with something. So I'm going to go help her out. Everybody, thank you so much for rocking with us. Please have a fantastic rest of your Sunday. Go check out a video or 12. See what we got going on over here at Dear World Christian. I definitely looking forward to rock with y'all again real soon. So until then, everybody, grace and peace. Take care. See you soon.